Hello, this is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, and I'm doing a video on the ETFs. This is for everybody. Here's a fact, not an opinion. Leading groups produce leading stocks, and leading stocks produce leading groups. We're taking a look at biotechnology. Here's a weekly on the left, daily on the right. Now, what does it tell you? I'll shrink that a bit for us to make it a little tighter. There we go. What's that tell us? There's not much power here, folks. Really not. Now, I will say this, on a lower level basis, it's forming a cup and a handle. Potential. Cloud computing, a lot of overhead here on the weekly, folks. Possible low level cup and a handle, but that's not leadership here, okay? I'd like to show you something that will help you. Would you see this chart in any chart book saying, this is what you look for? Yep, this is it. This is a high probability setup. Nope, you won't. There you go. Let's continue onwards. Autonomous driving and electric vehicles. Yeah, it rallied up on the weekly, backed off, low level. Okay, I mean this again. It's well off the highs. Watch this. That's well off the highs. I'll shrink this and keep it like that to frame things up better for us. Dow Jones Internet lagging, not a lot of power there. IBD 50, yeah, not much power there. Gold miners, look at that. Gold miners hanging in there. Compare and contrast. Kind of down low. Oh, near highs. There we go. Up on a pickup in volume. Gold miners. Something to look into. Or the ETF. There we go. GLD's lagging a little bit. Isn't that intriguing? The gold miners are okay, but gold itself is lagging. Compare and contrast. Up. Down. So what does that tell you? If you're going to look at something, look at the gold miners. I love that. Biotechnology really lagging. Not a lot of power here, okay? Just kind of crummy. Online retail lagging. North American technology lagging on the weekly and the daily. Dow Jones Medicines picked up a little bit, but tons of overhead, not a lot of power there. Mid-cap, lagging a little bit, not a lot of power. You can really see it on the weekly. U.S. home construction. This was a strong group for a long time. Look at that. And then look at how things change. Look at this. You won't see this in any chart book saying that's what you look for. Let's continue onward. We're almost done, by the way. That's the beautiful part. Growth, S&P Growth, 500 Growth Index. Had a good day there. Look at that. Earlier in the week, heavy volume. See these tops across here? I'll draw this for you. And it's simple. It's nothing fancy, folks. We look for patterns everybody can see. Could this form a little handle right here? Will it one up on heavy volume here, pulling back on less volume? Perhaps it will form a handle and take off. The S&P 500 growth stocks. There we go. Something to consider. Airlines, U.S. Global Jets, it's okay. Nothing really profound there. Regional banking, in literally 1 second, it says, I ain't buying any regional banking stocks. Done. Think about this. You've eliminated a sector that you don't have to look at. Does that not improve our focus on what remains? Yeah, that's huge. Continue on. We're almost done. Mid-cap's kind of chopping around, nothing really special. Oil services, hanging in there. Look at this, got a little shelf right here. And I'll draw it for you. What does this tell you? Well, it was up on pretty good volume right there, wasn't it? There's some accumulation in here. There's some accumulation on the weekly. Goes across this top. You could buy OIH, or you could look from oil services stocks. You can say, how can I find those? You can click on OIH and find their top 5 or 10 holdings. That's how. There you go. Systematized. Online retail lagging, nothing special there. Infrastructure, it's hanging in here. Maybe a couple and a handle of form, okay? Nothing profound. Cloud computing really lagging. I mean, look at how strong this was for a long time. I mean, look at that. That's serious. You'll love this. Look at this. You think we were involved in cloud computing stocks through that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How about now? Go back to it. Kind of lagging. Not a lot of power there. Steel. Steel's been decent. Look at this. Have we been involved in steels and metals? Yes. It's told us to. It's told us to. The ETF was saying, you might want to look at steel and metal stocks. And we have. We own some. There we go. Not rocket science. Okay. Just getting in line with what is. Semiconductors lagging, nothing to do with them. Solar, kind of basing down here. You know, maybe it'll go across these tops right here. What will it need? It'll need some real volume. We'll have to watch it. It's lagging on the weekly though. What does this tell you? There's tons of overhead supply. People that bought it up here and they still own it. When it goes up, what do you think they'll do? They'll sell some. Here we go. Continue on, we're almost done. Uranium's hanging in here. Forming kind of a handle right here. Possibly. I'll shrink this a bit so you can see that. You see these tops here? Possibly. You could buy the ETF if it lifts, or you could find some uranium stocks. Click on this symbol, URA, and see what they've got. Oil, it's all right. Lost a little bit. It was really strong. Lost a little bit of its leadership right here. Okay. Rallied back. Notice this. See the volume here? How much less it was? How low the up volume was versus in here? It's lost some leadership. There we go. Aerospace defense hanging in there. Not bad. By the way, with defense, with what's going on, we know that we were involved with Lockheed Martin, right? And Northrop. There we go. Just connecting the dots. Biotechnology's lagging pretty bad, just like BBH. Not a lot of power there. Home builders, really lagging. In 1 second, it says, I'm not looking at any home builder stocks. Done. Materials is kind of hanging in here. Look at this. Forming a little handle here. Note it picked up right here. Please know this. Do not think that the cup and handle has to be a perfectly flat horizontal line like that, because it doesn't. It can be a slightly downward sloping line. That's fine. No problems there at all. What does it need to push through this line? It'll need real volume and a good market. We're about done. Energy's hanging in here, and it has held in there for a while. We've been involved in energy. Financials ran up, and now it's dropping again. Just not a lot of power there, and it's dropping on fairly heavy volume, or pickup in volume here, as you can see. Industrials lifted up, starting to drop down again. Not a lot of power there. Technology, just what's it need to do? This will help you. You can say, I kind of lifted up, and now it's pulling back. We always look for clean and simple tops. And it doesn't need to be to the penny. Please don't think that. If it's close, that's what counts. Highs here, close to highs here. But what does it need to do? Push through that line on really heavy volume. What's one slight negative that you see on the chart? You go, well, I see quite a bit of red in here, Pat. I agree. There's more selling than buying, not a lot of power. Also, it fell on an increase in volume Friday. So you got to be a little careful with technology. There's a lesson for us. Consumer staples picking up a little bit. That's nice to see. Look at the chart. There you go. You can click on XLP and see what's in there. Leading a little bit. Next one right here. Healthcare sector picking up a little bit. Good volume there on Friday. You could look at XLV and see what they own. Consumer discretionary hanging in there. Metals and mining. We've been involved with metals and mining for a while. Look at oil. Look at this baby go. Yeah, are we involved in energy? Yeah. There we go. Retail. What does this tell you? Stay away. Look at the weekly. There's nothing good there. You got to leave it alone. And software, it's lagging. Here's the weekly. Just not a lot of power there. Okay. It's been good, and it'll come back. So now let's take a look at the stocks, the MAXLIST stocks, the big names. Lifted here. Some people bought it, ran up. We've sold some into strength. All right. We're not going to let a profit turn into a loss. See that line right there? Just connect on the tops here and here and here, and it pushed through right there on volume. There we go. Rallied up, starts to fall. It's indicative of the market, and you just manage them. You have to share this with everybody. This is a hard and fast foundation we have at Mission Winners. Never let a good profit turn into a loss. By the way, I'm not talking 50 cents, okay? No. We want to try to ride trends as long as we can. You can say, really? Like how? Like this. All right? The buy's right there. See that? Clean and simple base, and it runs. That's what we're after. Not, oh gosh, it's up, it's down. We don't want to do that. There's Amazon. I mentioned the higher low. See the low here? You see the low there? That higher low setup? Lifts here, and then buys here. Volume surge here. Buys. Couple of buys. And a run. There it is. You call it 29. You call it 29.70. Over 3,400. That's good money. That's great money. That's what we're after. The higher low setup. MAXLIST stock. Yes, it was done. Continue on. Alibaba. No. Compare and contrast. You can say, well, this doesn't look too bad with a higher low setup, Pat. This, you can say, well, it doesn't look too bad. Folks, there's the watch this. There's the 200-day. It's way below the 200-day. We try to stack the deck in our favor. Let's continue onward here. Hold on. BIDU, same situation. There's no setup there. Facebook, way below all the, there's nothing there. Right? Yeah, it may take off now, or Meta, we can call it Meta now. But this isn't a high probability setup. Leave it alone. Google, the 200 days rising, starts to lift. You see that line right there? Okay, taking that out. You see this spot right here? Do you see the low here? And I'm going to draw this for you. And you can see it. It's not too fancy. This low is higher than this low. And it's a MAXLIST stock. And it starts to lift on a pickup in volume, buys here and here, and it runs. Runs up. What do? We sell some into strength. There you go. It works. It works. Does it work all the time? Nothing works all the time. If it starts to fall, if we'd have bought this here, which we did, if it had taken out the day's lows, we would have sold it. That's simple. That's simple. Nothing fancy, because it's telling us we're wrong. We manage it. Goldman Sachs, nothing. MasterCard, starting to show a little life here, and that's a plus. What do we notice about it that is a positive? It gapped up and pushed through the 50-day, which is the green line, and the 200-day, which is the purple line. It pushed through that on a pickup in volume. You go, Now, let's take a look at it and say, is there any tops here? We'll just draw it right there. It's close enough. You see these highs right in here and a high right here. Up on a slight, or on less volume, but what could it do? Maybe it's going to take out those tops. All right? There's MasterCard. Let's see, what's MasterCard's sister stock? Gosh, we'll have to remember that, won't we? I wonder what it is, huh? Microsoft starts to lift here. We pick some up. All right? Tailed off. No power. We locked some in and we're gone. We'll watch and see what happens. But note this. You'll like this. What do you see there? That line right there. Just going sideways. I'll get rid of this line so we don't get too confused here, okay? There we go. What do you see here? I see a cup. And I see a small handle forming here. Go sideways and listen through that line. That could be a potential buy. There you go. It's not a MaxLIST stock, but by Jove, it could be. Netflix, ooh, ouch. Nothing good there, is there? I mean, that's low level, but man, it's below everything. Be careful with that. You want to stack the deck in your favor? Really, buy stocks that are above the 200-day and the 50-day. You'll dramatically increase your potential for making money. You'll increase your odds for making money. You say, Netflix is just a dog. It's never been good. Well, it was right there. We bought it right there. Going across those tops. You can ask the VIPs. They'll tell you. Close enough. And look at the volume surge through those tops. Nothing fancy. Highs here and highs here. Lifts through there. And also note this. Don't think it's to the line. Buy it. There's volume surge. It's going. Don't think you've got to get it to the penny. You're not in it for pennies. All right? But also, guy close to the line, don't buy up here. And that's a nice trend. See that? Boom, boom, boom. Starts to lose. See it where it lost the 21-day on volume? There's some selling going on there. Rallies up, starts to fall again. Loses the 20-day. Volume isn't too bad. Chops around, gaps up. Boom, rest of it sold. Gone. That's it. Done. Vanilla. Simple. Let's continue onward. NVIDIA. This is a MaxLIST stock. This low is higher than this low. It's a higher low setup. We talked about this on the ETF one. And it triggered, and we bought it. And it lifted. The VIPs bought it. And it works. Tesla. Oh, gee whiz. Look. This low is higher than this low. Buys here, here, here. And run. Pennant formation. And it gaps up on volume. Sweet. Now, you want to see something cool? This is what I call sweet potato pie. I'm not saying it's going to. I don't know the future, but after you look at enough charts, you start to see certain patterns. You got yourself a big cup and a handle here. Is it going to break out? I don't know. Is it going to work? I don't know. But this is our edge. More times than not, it does work. More times than not, the higher low setup works. That's our edge. More times than not, the clean and simple flat base works. That's our edge. You can say, really? Yeah, like this little base right here and this little base right here. Look at this. This was on the key list. Look at this. In fact, you go back and look at videos. We talked about this way back in September. Boy, it seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? There you go. Vanilla. Let's continue onward. We love to tweet. Here it is. What do we see? Yeah, folks, that baby's below the 200-day. There's tons of overhead supply. Be careful with that, okay? Just be careful. There's some tops here. It would need really good volume, but no. You think there's people that own it up here? Of course there are. That didn't sell? Yeah. And if it starts to move up, what are they going to do? They're going to say, thank heaven we can get out near break even. We're selling all the way up. That's overhead supply. Be careful with it. Visa, what's Visa's sister stock? MasterCard. Visa picks up a little bit. MasterCard picks up a little bit. Above the 200-day. See this above the 200-day? Visa. At the 200-day, just a little bit above it. Some overhead in there. Be careful. But it did show some life. One slight negative, we always look at price and volume. And I want to share this is the stuff we teach all the time. Price and volume talks. If we can learn to listen to it, man, will we do better. Look at that. Up on pretty good volume, right? Down on less volume. Up. Down on heavier volume than it went up on. See that? Look at the bar. I'll make this bigger for you. Look at the volume here. Look at the volume here. They sold it. They sold it on heavier volume than they bought it. Maybe it'll wiggle around and then finally take out these tops right here. And I'll draw it for you. Look at that. There it is. Maybe it's going to form a little handle here and take off. But it's going to need volume. It's going to need volume. Why? Well, it lifted up and they slammed it back down on heavier volume than it went up on. So anyway, that's the max list, giving you an overview of where big money can be made. I love these stocks, folks. I mean, it only takes a couple of these, like this and this, to make your year. Anyway, I just wanted to point it out, what we look for. And again, maybe this is forming a cup and a little handle and it'll start to push through that top. We'll see.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.